Hello there, come on in. My name is Mandy Tardif. Welcome to my channel. And today I am talking to you if you are someone who feels like you really want to start something. You have this big dream, you have this vision, you have this goal, but there's this part of you that gets excited about it. And then you look around and you're like, wait, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. There's too many steps, it's too big. There's no way where I am today that I could ever start this thing. So you just completely stop, you don't do it. But then maybe a couple days go by, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by, and it still whispers your name. Is that you? Now, what I want to do in this video is I want to validate that this is a real experience that most people have. I want to share a story about how this has transpired in my life and how I didn't let it dictate what I was going to do. I didn't let it become the truth, and I instead noticed the thoughts, noticed the resistance, and how I actually worked with that, and how I implemented certain things in my life to be able to know when this is happening, know how to discern this, and so therefore I can take those action steps toward the thing that I really want to build it, to create it, right? And how to, sorry, something in my mouth, how to hear God in all of this, how to really discern when God is truly speaking to us and really kind of saying, hey, go after this thing, this whisper that keeps coming up over and over, this feeling that you feel of excitement when you even think about this thing, but then it's followed by this oh, this could never happen. This certainly couldn't be from God, because if it was, if this was meant to be, then it would be easier. Then it wouldn't take so much effort. It wouldn't feel so impossible. The things would just work out, and that's not necessarily always true. So in this video, if you've been dreaming about starting a business, becoming an artist, becoming a dancer, getting healthier, be developing a new routine for your fitness, becoming a coach, changing careers, whatever it is, if you're wanting to create some kind of a life for yourself that just feels so much more aligned with your values and feels more authentically you, then this is the video for you. Because if you're waiting to feel more confident, if you're waiting for everything to fall into place, if you're waiting for the perfect moment, you're gonna possibly be waiting forever. So today I'm gonna share some mindset shifts that will help you. These mindset shifts that changed things for me. And then I'm also gonna share real examples from my life, real tangible examples from my life, things that I went through, so many things that I've gone through, and thus I was able to create some of the things that I actually am living out right now, and how difficult that was and how much resistance I experienced, but how I got through it, right, with the mindset shifts. And then I'm also going to share what's presently going on too. I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain to you how you can identify what the low-hanging fruit is in your life that's already in your hands, because we all have resources. You're like, nah, you don't get it. You don't understand my life. No, I get it. We all have something maybe small. Don't despise humble beginnings. We all have something right now tangible that if we look for it, if we know how to look for it, if we know how to identify it, then you can start creating the life that you want today in tiny little bite-sized actions. Because what we're looking for is we're looking for clarity, and sometimes we're not going to get that. Sometimes we are just not going to get that. The clarity is that this whisper keeps coming up, and that's the clarity. That's all the information that you need. So I'm going to share also at the end the exact creative coaching practice and process that I use to help my clients move from just merely dreaming of the thing to actually doing the thing and creating the thing. Okay? So part one. Confidence is not necessarily going to come first. You are not necessarily going to feel clear and confident and you're just going to know what to do. You are more than likely going to feel completely opposite of that. You're not exactly going to know what to do. You're not even sure if this is going to work out. You feel on some level this is a fraud. Why am I even thinking this? But you do keep feeling this feeling, all right, is if you think that you can only start when you feel ready, or when you get more information, or when you move to that place, or when you get into the relationship, or when whatever, if you think that you have to wait, you don't have to wait, okay? Confidence is usually going to come after you take the action with no confidence. It's very counterintuitive, and in some ways it sucks, but that's just the way that it is. It's that you got to take the actions first, and then you'll get the confidence, and then you'll get the clarity, and then you'll get the next steps and the next steps. And it's just literally, this is going to be the process. Like, you kind of have to get used to it. You have to kind of get used to not having confidence and sort of just moving the body. Like, don't listen to the mind necessarily, although we do want to sometimes listen to the mind, but you move the body. All right. So you become someone. So, like, let me give you an example. When I was first dreaming about becoming this full-time artist, it was a dream, literally just a dream. And I was met with so much resistance and so much thinking about how it could never be possible. There's just no way it could ever happen. And even if it were to happen, I wouldn't even know how to begin, and I would probably fail, and there's no point, and God maybe doesn't even want that for me. So let's just go get, stable 9-to-5 job. We can have security in that. But the interesting thing was, back in 2010, I lost that job. I got laid off, which was the best thing that could have ever happened, because although it was scary at first, it was like, this is the thing that it's forcing me to have to pursue this dream of mine of being a full-time artist, an entrepreneur, making my own schedule and creating art for a living for the rest of my life, not having a roadmap, not ever having a roadmap. Things are never crystal clear. I never found a formula and then just repeat that same formula over and over and over again. It's a faith walk, like every single day. Like, entrepreneurship is a spiritual path and a faith walk. And you meet yourself every day, and you meet your limiting beliefs every single day. This is just what it is. But I'm grateful I got laid off, because I wasn't confident at first. But what I did was I built a website. I built a landing page just saying I'm a full-time artist. And I started off with sewing grocery bags. This was back in 2010, when there weren't that many grocery bags that were, cloth grocery bags. And I made the cutest line of grocery bags, and I thought it was stupid. Like, no one's gonna buy this. And I found it hard to sell, because like everybody at the time was using plastic bags and paper bags. Who's gonna buy a broccoli shaped cloth grocery bag that I created? And I didn't believe in my creation. And so I lacked the confidence to really market it more than I wish that I would have, because actually now it was like I was before my time. But nonetheless, I started somewhere. I created a website, I started making these bags, and then I started illustrating children's books. So I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna do that. And I illustrated an entire children's book for my nieces. I taught myself how to illustrate the book, how to create the PDF to format the entire book and publish it myself. I taught myself everything that you would ever need to know to self-publish, write, create, illustrate a book with the ISBN number on the back, and a cover and a back cover. I mean, I did all of it myself. So then what I did was I took that book and I took all my experience. I created a little landing page saying, I'm an illustrator. My name's Mandy. I live at the time in Northern California. I was calling myself a children's book illustrator. And I was like, okay, well, I am, I illustrated a book. Like, in some way I didn't feel that confident, but I had to fake it until I made it. So I made this landing page. I uploaded a few images to Craigslist. This was 2010 at the time. And I just said, here I am. Like, I'm here for hire if you want to hire me. And someone hired me. A clinical psychologist reached out to me, and she wanted me to publish 2 of her children's books. And I did. And I made enough money to support myself for a number of months, because I charged her thousands of dollars to create a children's book for her. And it worked. Like, the confidence came afterward. When I got her, like, when she inquired about me and she actually contacted me, I was like, I can't believe this worked. Like, I can't believe this. Like, wow. And when she actually, like, we had a conversation, and then when she signed the contract and she sent me the first deposit, I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is what I wanted and this is happening. But like, how is this even happening? It felt very surreal. So the confidence came afterward. And then I started to develop more self-trust, because I was like, oh my gosh, I totally didn't trust myself in the beginning, but I just did it. I just showed up. And I kind of needed to, because at that point I got laid off from my job. And you could say like, well, why didn't you go get another job? Well, it's because the reason why I got laid off from my job was because I was experiencing so much chronic pain in my body that I couldn't go do any kind of a normal 9-to-5 job. I had to figure out how to create my own job so that I could only work a couple hours a day and make enough money to support myself with only working a couple hours a day, and to work as efficiently as possible to make a huge hourly wage. And the only way I could figure out doing that so that I could lay down for portions of the day and go for a walk and stretch, and like I couldn't show up to an 8-hour work day or even a 6-hour work day because of the physical pain. So like I had to make something work. I had to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. So confidence won't always come first. You have to just step out and you have to just move the ship. You have to try different things. Before I landed on being a children's book illustrator, which was what I did for a number of years. I don't do that anymore, but I've illustrated like, I think 8 to 10 books by this point. I have a couple on Amazon that I sell, and they're really good. But before that, I tried to sell grocery bags that were cloth. I tried to be a graphic designer, making logos for people and business cards. I tried being, what else? There was like so many things that I tried that I just was like throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's like, just do something. Something's gonna click. You have to just move, okay? So part 2, I do want to talk about how, like, for instance, when this happened, when I lost my job in 2010, and I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? I figured out how to build my entire website. My website is www.mandytardif.com, and that whole entire website I first initially built in 2010, and still to this day, 16 years later, that's still the same website that I have. I've changed it a lot, but every single thing on that website, everything has been created by me. Everything. Not one person has done anything to that website but me. Like, and I'm talking, I took all the pictures, I dropped everything into that website and laid it out the way that I did. I made everything in that website. And I did that before I actually was a professional artist. I created the site, I created the links, so that if someone decided that they wanted to hire me and they needed to pay, I figured out how to put a button on my website that they could submit payment. I made these things before I had any proof that anyone was even gonna hire me. And, you know, there's that movie where it says, build it and they will come. So I just kept investing in equipment. Like, I remember there's this time, like, I wasn't working, and I hardly had any money. I was suffering from crazy chronic pain and migraines, and then my laptop just completely went out. And I was like, this can't be happening. Like, what am I gonna do? And so I went to the store and I was like, well, I have to get a good laptop. I can't be skimpy on a laptop. I'm an artist. I have to get a really good laptop that has a lot of power and a lot of memory. And so I just took a huge leap of faith, and I invested in my dream. I invested in my business. I invested in the small, still voice. And every time I have ever done that, even if it was like throwing down a couple $1,000s for a laptop when it made no logical sense to do it, I ended up having that couple $1,000s just kind of somehow magically reappear back into my bank account like just a week later. It's interesting how that happens. It's like I bought the laptop, and then all of a sudden I look at my bank account and I'm like, wait, how come I still have the same money and maybe even more? Because life will continue to generate more abundance when you're thinking in terms of abundance and gratitude. And when you want to be in that authentic place of your calling, God will support that, will support more and more of that. So every time we just go after with discernment and wisdom, we go after that which our soul wants to go after, we will be supported. So I wasn't like pretending to be something that I wasn't. Like deep down, yeah, I knew that this art direction for me, like going into a direction of like creating art, that makes sense. I'm an artist. I have been my whole entire life. It wasn't like I was trying to be some like doctor. That would have made no sense. Like to create a website and try to tell somebody that I was a really good surgeon, like that would have been so inauthentic. But to really listen and say, okay, what is life giving me right now? What life gave me a talent, so do something with that. And the more I did it, the better I became. And now I've been a professional artist for over 16 years. I mean, I've been creating art my whole life. I started taking commissions when I was, I think, 13 years old. I painted somebody's birdhouse, and I don't remember what I charged them, but I made money when I was young just creating art because people knew that I was an artist. What is that thing that you just know that you're meant to do? You know, start a restaurant, start a company. Okay, so that is a little bit about like parts of my story. So I want to talk now about like the low-hanging fruit, right? So there are things in our life right now, even though we might not think, but there is something in our life right now, or many things in our life right now, that is tangible evidence to show us that what it is that we're wanting, what it is that we're feeling that we want to head toward is possible, is absolutely possible. Even if it feels small, even if it's like a little thing, but there's evidence. So I want you to think about that evidence, and I want you to write that evidence down, because what we can end up focusing on is what we don't have, or how far we have to go, or how it seems impossible. And our minds are going to latch onto that. And then we're going to think with our head, and then we're going to try to think of all the logical ways that we can get from point A to point B. And when we do that, we can't see the myriad of possibilities before us that it could be easy. It could just drop in our lap. It could come in a way that you don't even have to do anything. But instead we focus on this isn't possible. But what is possible is something in your life that you can do right now. There is absolutely one thing you can do, one action step. You can start talking about it, make a business card, make a landing page, start making a vision board. What skills do you already have right now? Because I guarantee you have skills right now that you need, and you have them. So utilize them, do something with them. What experiences have shaped you to become the person that you are right now, that make you different than everybody else? Those experiences are unique to you, and they're there for a reason. What tools are already sitting in your house? When I stumbled upon face and body painting, the world of face and body painting, like I said, I got laid off from my job in 2010. I was nervous, and then I didn't know what I was going to do. I was pursuing becoming this full-time artist, trying all these different things, and thankfully making some income through children's book illustration, but that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do full-time. I'm glad that I tried it, and it was fun, and I made thousands of dollars doing that, but something didn't feel quite like it was the sweet spot. And someone asked me to babysit, and I said yes. And when I went over to their house, the kids were like, "Can you paint our faces?" I'd never painted faces before, and I fell in love with it. I mean, it was the flow state. Talk about the flow state. And so then face and body painting just came to me. And I started to do that. I started to do it on my body. I started to do it on other people. And I was hooked. Still to this day, 16 years later, I am still painting faces. In fact, tomorrow I got hired at an ice cream shop for their year celebration of them being open for a whole year. And I'm going to be painting faces for a couple hours. And I painted my own dress like a ice cream cone for the event. So still to this day, I'm still face painting. And it was just such a beautiful thing that happened. But that was something that I didn't even know that I had the skill. It was like life brought it to me. And what I started doing was, I was like, oh, I'm gonna practice this skill, and I'm gonna paint on myself, and I'm gonna film myself. But I was like, but wait, I don't have a professional camera, I don't have a tripod. But my roommate at the time had a digital camera and said, well, you can use mine, you can use my tripod. And so I didn't have one of these ring light things that I have in front of me right now. And so I just put the camera on my windowsill, and I literally taped myself in my room using the natural light as my lighting for a year, I think. And then when I was finally making enough money doing face painting, I then bought a ring light. I then started buying some equipment, but I started with what I had, right? I started with the low-hanging fruit with what I had. What knowledge do you have in your life right now that you could share that could help someone else? There's something that you've been through, that you've transformed, that you've conquered, that you can share with someone else, that they might need your hope. They might need you to share a story. What could you create with what you already have, right? Like if you're like, oh, I don't have a sewing machine. Do you have a needle and thread? Do you have a shirt that you could tailor? Do you have, what do you have? Do you have a piece of paper, a pen? What do you have in your house that you can utilize to create a small little prototype or just something just to start? Because once you start getting into creator mode, not thinking mode, get out of thinking mode, get into action mode, get into creating mode. Even if the thing that you create feels stupid or foolish or small or whatever, get into the energy of creator mode, and then it's gonna start. And then you'll start to get all these ideas. And sometimes getting ourselves out of our head and into action can take years. It can take so long. But then when you finally do, you're like, why did it take me so long? Okay, so one of my favorite lessons in scripture is from the parable of the talents. So there were some servants, okay, and they multiplied what they were given, what they were entrusted with, okay. So there was one servant that buried his talent out of fear, and then there was another servant that multiplied. So who are you? Are you someone that has some talents and you're burying it and you're not really utilizing it, you're hiding it, you're stockpiling money in your bank, but you're not actually like investing in things? Or are you someone who's multiplying? You're taking what you have and you're investing and you're buying and you're giving and you're just multiplying it. So God's not asking us to start with like everything. He's just saying, just take this little tiny talent. This is, the parable of like Jesus multiplying the loaves and the fishes. He had just a few loaves and a few fish and he fed thousands. And that's the energy, right? We can be faithful with what we've already been given, and then more will be given to us. Your gifts, your creativity, your experiences, your story, your skills, your voice. When we steward these things, well, when we are okay with humble beginnings, then we will be given more, we'll be entrusted with more, and then we will be literally creating room for more growth, right? So be willing to start small, because often what can happen is we can have these lofty goals. It's either we think it's completely impossible, or we think, oh my God, I'm gonna like change the world. And it's like, well, and let's go somewhere in between here. Like how about we just start small? How about maybe you just illustrate one page? That was for me. Like just illustrate like one page. Just make one sticker. Just help one person. Like don't go so extreme, because then you're going to overwhelm yourself and it's not going to feel safe or even possible to your nervous system, and then you're just going to end up sabotaging, and then you're going to conclude wrongly. You're going to conclude that this is impossible, and that is all just a bunch of bullshit in our mind, and we're fucking ourselves. So stop fucking yourself. Unfuck yourself, okay? This whole video is here to unfuck yourself. So I've already talked a bit about this, but I also want to talk a little bit more about don't despise humble beginnings. So this is something that I have to remind myself all the time, because I can jump from going from not ever doing one sit-up in my entire life, or a crunch, or maybe once in a while I do, to I want a six-pack in 2 months. And it's like, just do crunches every day. And eventually it's gonna take some time, but with proper nutrition, you'll develop a really strong core. Like, why don't we just be humble and just start where we are? We live in a world that really honestly celebrates overnight success, the quick. But everything that's meaningful is going to take time. Every single thing. So start with one client, help one person, and be truly present with that one person. I have a client that's going to be calling me in a few days, and I cannot wait to talk to her. I'm going to be so present with her. I don't have 40 clients. I'm talking to this woman in a couple days, and I'm going to be present with her, right? And then another client will sign up, another client, another client, another client, another client. That's how it happens. It doesn't happen where I need to put 10 people on the book this month. It's like, just start with one person and really authentically love them, coach them, support them, pray about them, pray for them, ask God for guidance for them, and just truly concentrate on that one person. And the more that we concentrate on that one person and have gratitude for that person, then that we get to support that person, we'll automatically get more. We'll automatically get more. All right. So I want to bring it back to you, okay? I want to ask you, what is the dream that God has placed on your heart? You know what it is. You know it. What have you been waiting to start? What are you circling around the mountain? What have you started and then stopped? What have you started and then maybe you gave up? What is that thing? What gifts are you overlooking in yourself? Are you overlooking some gifts that you have right now that you just maybe aren't even thinking that they're gifts because they just come so naturally to you? Or you don't value them as much as maybe you should because you just don't see that they're gifts, right? What's one piece of low-hanging fruit in your life right now that you could use today and this week? Okay, I want you to drop these in the comment section. What tiny action would the future version of you be thanking you for today? So picture yourself in 1 year, you're doing the thing. And then you're gonna look back and you're gonna go, wow, thank you so much that you were willing to begin, that you were willing to start, that you were willing to jump out there and do it, even though it felt impossible. But thank you for starting, because you started, this is where we are today. Because you decided to start. And I'll say this YouTube channel is an example of that. This YouTube channel, I have stopped and started and stopped and started, and I have thrown so much spaghetti on the wall. There's spaghetti macaroni, there's linguine, there's the bow tie pasta. It's everywhere. If you look at my YouTube channel, I have videos that just seem to not even make any sense. How to paint a walrus, how to paint yourself like the Joker, how to go no contact, how to date in a biblical way. Like I've created so many videos that are so sporadic. I mean, but they are all me. I mean, this is all coming from my soul and it's all coming from me. But I've stopped and started and not known what to do and lacked confidence, but I just kept doing it. I just kept showing up no matter what, because I do feel like this is a dream that God has placed on my heart, to be a full-time artist, which I am, and to help people all over the world tap into their creativity and become their most authentic, juicy selves, that they absolutely love the life that they've created for themselves, that they've co-created with themselves, and that's aligned with their values and their character, and they just love their life. And that is what I'm meant to do, is to coach people, help people, and support people to do that for themselves in their own unique way, because everybody's different. All right, so this is at the heart of what I teach. This is at the heart of how I coach people and why I coach people, okay? Most people think creativity is just about making some crafts and some paper things and some, make a painting. It's not. Creativity is so much bigger than that. You're an artist. I'm an artist. Every single person that's going to watch this is watching this. Every person on the planet, we are all artists. We are all creative. Creativity is how we intentionally partner with our Creator and how we design a life that reflects who He created us to be. It's about creating confidence, healthy habits, businesses, beautiful relationships, courage, creating a life of purpose. Art is an expression of that creativity. But creativity, when you create a business, when you create a restaurant, when you create a recipe, when you create a body, a muscle at the gym, it's creativity. Step into your creative identity and get yourself in that driver's seat. Empower yourself. Feel that energy, rather than being someone who's a copycat or a follower or someone who just wants to go do the sure, clear, stable thing. Nothing on this planet is stable. Nothing on this planet is a sure thing. Everything is going to change. Everything. So step into that creator energy and know that you can step into that creator energy anytime, every time. This is what has sustained me and helped me through a myriad of sufferings and heartbreaks and pivots and career twists and jobs that I've lost. I just recently lost. I did have a somewhat stable position as a part-time art teacher for a while in a school, which was really nice, which was really fun. But I just got laid off because the school that I was working for, they decided they wanted to cut creativity out of the program. They don't want to have art at the school. I shouldn't say it that way. They're hurting for money, and so they decided to get rid of art, which I think was a big mistake. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And so I didn't panic because of it, because I know how to instantaneously jump into creator mode. And the second I lost my job was the moment that I made $1,000 that week, both in coaching and in creating art. And most of that came to me because of what I have been putting out there for so long, because I dared to believe, because I dared to start creating, because I dared to fake it until I made it, because I dared to be freaking delusional. All right, so if you are someone who is waiting to feel ready, if you're someone who just feels like they need support, if you're someone who if you're resonating with any of this, I would absolutely love to support you. I would love to help you. So through my create method, so that my create method is it's the methodology that I use to help people. It's a framework that I use to coach people, and it's create, and it stands for connect, connect, release, express, align, transform, and body. I'm just trying to picture it all in my head. And we go through all these 6 steps through our coaching together. So it's better if you do a 3-month program with me. It just works better that way, because a lot of significant transformation can take place when you go through a longer duration of time rather than just having like one call. But I can tailor make a program for you. But anyway, I help women mostly. I do help men uncover the gifts that God already has, uncover the low-hanging fruit, uncover the skills that you have, uncover the limiting beliefs that you have, uncover what you need to use for a mindset shift. Like, these mindset shifts are like, don't despise humble beginnings. Then what are the low-hanging fruit? What are the skills that I have right now? These are the mindsets. This is possible. Anything is possible with God. These are the mindset shifts that we can talk about, that we can embed and embody into your being, and you adopt this new identity even before you believe that you are, let's say, a children's book illustrator. You can adopt an identity that you're a children's book illustrator before you become one, and then all of a sudden you become one, right? So I can help with that whole process. Together we identify your strengths, we discover the opportunities that are already there, and we create a personalized roadmap with action plan and homework and all of that good stuff for you, right? So that we can stop overthinking, procrastinating, going around the mountain, and you can start creating, you can start getting in the driver's seat, and you can start feeling empowered, rejuvenated, excited, and you're gonna look back in a year from now, you're gonna go, holy motherfucking shit, I did it. I did it. And I'm not here to be your coach for the rest of your life. I'm here as a support person to help you, to maybe be the training wheels, and then, then you're gonna fly, and then you go and you help someone else. All right? So if this resonates with you, I would love to invite you to apply to my create method. There's a link in the description box somewhere. I'd be honored to walk alongside of you. Remember, creativity isn't just about making beautiful things, although it is about making beautiful things. It's about making the world more beautiful in the way that you were meant to make the world more beautiful. It's about becoming also the person that God created you to be, the most authentic version of yourself, fully embodied, fully embodied. I can't wait. In a week from today, pretty much, I will be belting my freaking lungs out singing classic rock music with a band. And that is me being fully embodied. Who are you when you're fully embodied and you are the absolute epitome of who God created you to be? The life that you're dreaming of won't be built all in one freaking day. It will be built through small acts of faith, faithful stewardship each day, and the freaking courage to just begin before you have all the answers, because you're not gonna have all the answers ever. So let's just get comfortable with that, okay? Don't bury your gifts. Don't bury your light. You were meant to shine. Don't despise the small beginnings, because they are beautiful. Start creating what God has already placed in your hands, okay? And trust God with all of it. You can trust God with all of it. The crazy thing is, like, once we get into that, it's just like, oh my God, the synchronicities that happen. It's just unbelievable, because that's God's character. God loves you so much. And I love you too. I hope that this resonated. Please comment, subscribe, like, follow, all those things. Share with a friend if you think that this is going to help them. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.